Shamusa.
This side. I'm speaking this side here. Here.
Shamusa.
Meh.
You're trying to freak me out. It's not gonna work.
Meh.
Teenage kicks. Unfortunately,
Meh. Korean meh.
look,
Look, look,
put that thing down.
Korean meh. 아, 화살표 방지래. 서로 줄 화살표 방지래. 서로 줄 화살표.
Shockwave. Friday.
아, 하나 스톱했다.